The scene opens with our narrator posing a thought-provoking question. What is the most essential aspect of youth? Is it the relentless pursuit of a brighter future? Perhaps it's the unbreakable bonds of friendship? Or maybe it's the whirlwind of romantic relationships that many young people navigate during these formative years. Yet, in the depths of his mind, our protagonist shakes his head, dismissing these notions as mere illusions, fleeting moments that lack substance. He reflects on the complex web of human interactions, realizing how rare it is to find someone who truly understands you. To him, if one ignores the desire to connect and comprehend another person, love becomes a hollow concept. Just then, his thoughts are interrupted by a fluttering love letter that seems to be calling out to him. Curiosity piqued, he picks it up, pondering how to handle this unexpected wave of affection. Tapping the paper against his forehead, he mutters to himself that receiving a confession feels more like a burden than a blessing. Across the way, a pink-haired girl sits, and as our protagonist approaches, he calls her name. The moment she realizes she's the one being addressed, a hint of nervousness washes over her. Bai, our protagonist, suggests that if she wants to discuss an activity report, she should do so at the school council. But irritation flares in her eyes as she snaps back, accusing him of playing dumb. "If you don't listen to me, I swear I'll kill you," she exclaims, her frustration palpable. Feigning ignorance, Bai turns to leave, but before he can escape, Yao Yao grabs him by the collar, pulling him closer. She positions him between her legs, resting his head against her soft curves. With a shy smile, she confesses, "I like you." Stunned into silence, Bai is left speechless. Then, with a hint of vulnerability, she asks, "Will you be my boyfriend?" An awkward silence envelops them, and confusion swirls in Bai's mind. He grapples with disbelief. How could he be receiving a confession? Deep down, he knows he's not ready to fall in love yet, but the thought of refusing her sends a shiver down his spine. After all, she's the champion of the archery club, and he can't help but feel intimidated. As she shakes him, urging him to answer, he mutters under his breath, wishing he could escape this moment. Yet, he reminds himself that he's a strong person, a warrior who has faced many battles and was the best at dealing. As the tension builds, Bai places a hand on Yao Yao's shoulder, his voice steady as he apologizes. "I'm sorry, but I already like someone else." Just then, a nearby girl's voice cuts through the air, echoing the same sentiment as she rejects a boy. Bai glances over, realizing that he's witnessing a mirror image of his own predicament, only with the roles reversed. Yao Yao catches this too, her finger pointing dramatically in the direction of the unfolding drama. "Are you really going to use those tired excuses?" she teases, her tone growing more desperate. Bai can't help but wonder about the odds of such a coincidence. "What are you going to say?" Yao Yao presses, her eyes narrowing. Despite the mounting pressure, he stands his ground, insisting that he truly likes someone. In a sudden burst of determination, Yao Yao pushes him against the wall, demanding to know who this mystery girl is. "If you don't tell me, I'll confess to you every single day," she declares, her resolve unwavering. "I'll even show up at your house to confess. I won't give up." Caught off guard, Bai internally debates his next move. Why was she so relentless? Finally, he blurts out, "It's Ning Yichu." The name hangs in the air, and he realizes that Ning is likely the girl who just rejected the boy nearby. Yao Yao's expression shifts, and she responds, "If it's her, then fine." But Bai's confusion deepens as she continues. "She probably doesn't even know you exist. You two won't have a relationship, especially since she's leaving the school next year." With a determined glint in her eye, Yao Yao pins him against the wall once more. "Even if you don't like me now, I'll make you fall for me in the future." With a sweet smile, she bids him goodbye, promising to pick him up the next morning. Bai stands there, utterly bewildered, frozen in place as the whirlwind of emotions leaves him reeling. Later at school, Bai is lost in thought, replaying the chaotic events in his mind. Just when he thinks things couldn't get any more complicated, the student council president, Tang Xin, approaches him. "Why haven't you gone home yet?" she asks, her voice laced with curiosity. With a playful yet seductive demeanor, she plops down at the table beside him, coffee in hand. "What are you doing here at this hour?" she inquires, her gaze piercing through him. Seizing the moment, Tang Xin leans in closer, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "I'm sure you'll repay the favor," she teases. Just then, Bai's gaze lands on another love letter lying on the table. Curiosity piqued, Tangshin asks. What do you think about love? As he stares at the letter, Bai begins to wonder who could have left it there. Tangshin inches even closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper as she asks, what do you think about love letters? The atmosphere thickens with tension, and Bai finds himself questioning what exactly is happening. Suddenly, a knock on the door interrupts the moment, followed by a voice calling for the president. Does that mean you want a tighter hug? Tangshin quips, her playful demeanor unwavering. Bai is left bewildered as she prepares herself, declaring that the vice president is quite greedy. In a swift motion, she wraps her arms around him tightly, attempting to seduce him further. Just then, the door swings open, and a boy enters, love letter in hand. He freezes at the sight of the awkward scene unfolding before him, stammering an apology before quickly retreating. Bai tries to explain, but it's too late. The misunderstanding is already set in motion. Great. Now he'll think something else entirely, Bai mutters, but Tangshin simply shrugs, declaring, problem solved. Her nonchalance leaves him even more confused. How could she consider that a solution? Settling back into her chair, Tangshin casually mentions, if you receive 25 love letters in a month, you'd understand why I did that. You're the only boy I know, so I have to make you responsible for it. She teases, adding that it would be nearly impossible for the vice president to receive love letters. Bai, feeling irritated at being used as a scapegoat, watches as she plays with her phone, sipping her coffee. Suddenly, with a mischievous smile, she asks him to cover his eyes. What are you up to now? He questions, trying to defend himself. But before he can protest further, she takes his hands and places them over his eyes. Just cover your eyes and don't peek, okay? Despite his bad feeling about the situation, he takes a small glance, only to be met with her warning. If you peek, things might get problematic. As she begins tying her hair up, preparing to change, Bai turns away, determined to avoid seeing anything he shouldn't. But confusion reigns as he hears the rustling of fabric. What are you doing? He asks, bewildered by the sounds. It's nothing, she replies, finishing up her outfit change. Suddenly, she pulls him by the collar, commanding him to open his eyes. When he does, he's met with the sight of her in a stunning dress, the transformation leaving him momentarily speechless. Tangshin, now dressed in her stunning outfit, turns to Bai with a playful glint in her eye. So what do you think? She asks, twirling slightly to show off the dress. Does it look good on me? Yeah, you look beautiful, he replies, but then his curiosity gets the better of him. But why did you change clothes in the office? Someone could have seen you. With a casual shrug, she releases him from her grip. I was in a hurry. There's a dinner at my house tonight. Besides, I didn't change in the office. I just slipped this dress on under my uniform. It's not like anyone would notice. As she prepares to elaborate, Bai interrupts. Okay, please stop. I don't want to hear anymore. Embarrassment floods his cheeks as he adds, I thought you were in a rush. Why are you taking so long? Suddenly a thought strikes Tangshin. Oh, I almost forgot something. She approaches him again, crouching down to his level. You're really careless for a council member, you know. Look at your shirt, your button is undone. With deft fingers, she adjusts his shirt, placing a brooch where the button should be. There, much better, she declares, stepping back to admire her handiwork. When did my button fall off? Bai asks, bewildered. That's just a little extra reward for volunteering for overtime, she replies with a wink. I'm off now. Be good and finish your extra work. As she walks away, a satisfied smile on her face, Bai is left trying to process everything that just happened. He glances down at his shirt, realizing that she must have taken his button. Once she's out of sight, he turns his attention back to the love letter on the table. Curiosity gnaws at him. Who could it be from? As he opens it, he finds a note inviting him to the neighborhood cafe, signed simply, Ning Y. His heart races at the sight of Ning's name. She's the queen of their school. He sinks into his chair, overwhelmed by a mix of excitement and anxiety. Meanwhile, in another room, a black-haired girl, Ning, asks her friend if today's horoscope predicted any confessions. Later, we find Bai sitting across from Ning at the cafe, finishing a cup of coffee. So why did you call me here? He asks, trying to mask his nervousness. Ning takes a sip of her drink before responding. Yao Yao came to see me today. She wanted to talk about how you like me. Surprised, Bai nearly spits out his coffee. What? No, that's not what she meant. Calmly, Ning raises an eyebrow. Oh, so it was just a random excuse for you to reject Yao Yao? Exactly, he exclaims, relieved that she understands. Thank you for getting it. I didn't mean to use my feelings for you as a shield. As she closes her book, Ning looks thoughtful. Actually, I wanted to ask you something. Sure, what is it? Bai replies, his curiosity piqued. Would you like to date me? She asks, her expression serious. Caught off guard, Bai's mind goes blank. You must be joking. No, I'm not, Ning insists. I just want you to pretend to be my boyfriend. If Yao Yao confesses to you, she won't give up until you reject her. But without a good reason, you won't be able to do it. So, I thought pretending to be a couple would be the best way to make her back off. Bai furrows his brow, still trying to wrap his head around the situation. But what about that guy from before? Didn't he give up on you? Ning lets out a sigh, her expression turning serious. Actually, my situation is a bit more complicated than yours, she admits. Standing up, she adds, but it was just a suggestion. Don't worry too much about it. Just think it over. As she heads for the door, she glances back. I'll be waiting for your answer the day after tomorrow. The next morning, an alarm blares through the house, cutting through the silence. A girl, dressed in an adorable cat-themed outfit, tiptoes into Bai's room. She climbs onto his bed, sniffing him playfully while making soft cat-like sounds. Startled awake, Bai blinks in disbelief at the bizarre scene unfolding before him. What are you doing here? And why are you dressed like that so early? He exclaims, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. I went to bed last night without taking a shower. I'm smelly. His sister giggles, but I like your panda eyes. Realizing he's been too loud, Bai apologizes, but she waves it off, still sniffing him and showering him with compliments. Finally, he swings his legs over the side of the bed, heading to the bathroom. I'm not playing with you. I'm going to brush my teeth, he states firmly. As he brushes, he glances back at her. How long are you going to keep holding on? He asks, but she seems unwilling to let go. Suddenly, she says something that makes him blush, a phrase with an inappropriate double meaning for siblings. Don't say things like that, he shouts, flustered. She pouts. You've been so cold lately. Moments later, we see his sister dressed as a maid, serving him breakfast. Breakfast made with sisterly love is ready, she announces cheerfully. As Bai digs in, he praises the food, but then he shifts the conversation. Hey, can I ask you something? When you were in school, did people confess to you often? Her cheeks flush with embarrassment. Actually, yes. Desperate for answers, Bai stands up. How did you usually reject them? And what if they didn't give up after you turned them down? More embarrassed than ever, she replies, I always said I had a boyfriend. If they still didn't believe me, I'd show them a picture of you. As she leaves for school, she reminds him to wash the dishes. Pensive, Bai realizes that this might be the only way to handle things. Outside, Yao Yao stands neatly dressed, wondering why her friend hasn't come out yet. Just then, Bai steps out of his building, and he's startled to see her waiting for him. You came early, he exclaims, trying to slip away. As he runs, he thinks to himself that with her dressed like that, Yao Yao must be planning to confront him about his rejection. But before he can escape, she starts chasing after him, determination in her eyes. With a swift flying kick, she lands a blow to his back, ordering him to stay still. What kind of romantic comedy has my life turned into? Bai wonders, feeling the pressure of the situation. Later, as they walk, Bai tries to explain, this is just a small event for the city's archery club. There's no need for you to drag me like this. Irritated, Yao Yao pulls him along, insisting, I went through a lot to get you away from council work for this date. As they approach a group of boys, one of them, surrounded by admirers, spots Yao Yao and waves. She immediately tenses, irritation flashing across her face. That guy is here again. Confused, Bai looks at her, not recognizing the boy. Suddenly, Yao Yao's demeanor shifts completely. She turns to him, calling him darling, and clinging to Bai's arm, Yao Yao beams up at him. It's really sunny out here. Let's head backstage. But Bai remains perplexed by the sudden shift in their dynamic. Leaning in closer, she whispers conspiratorially, if you don't play along with this act, I'll use you as a target at the archery club. With that, she dashes off, leaving him to hold her bag. Just behave, he calls after her, feeling a mix of fear and confusion. I'll wait for you backstage. Nearby, a blonde young man observes the scene with a smirk. Yao Yao's as cheerful as ever, he comments, then turns to the girls around him, apologizing as he steps away. As Bai clutches Yao Yao's bag, the blonde approaches him. You must be the vice president, Bai, right? He says, introducing himself as Lindu. The captain of the Dundon School Archery Club. Yao Yao's mentioned you, but I didn't expect to meet you here. Thanks for bringing her, Bai replies, but Lindu quickly adds, since I invited her, I'll naturally accompany her back after the meeting. You don't need to bother. In his mind, Bai thinks Lindu seems cool, but there's something off about the guy's overly confident aura. He suspects Lindu is really just there to see Yao Yao. Lindu continues, your time is valuable, Vice President. If you're not interested in the event, you can leave, and I'll explain everything to Yao Yao. Bai, unfazed, responds, I'm here as an invitee of the student council. It's not your business who takes Yao Yao home afterward. He walks away, feeling a sense of challenge in the air. Lindu watches him go, intrigued yet irritated. That guy is interesting, he mutters to himself. Meanwhile, Yao Yao hides behind a wall, a smile spreading across her face as she observes the exchange. Later, we find Yao Yao in the competition shooting arrows at the target. Bai, tired of the event, wonders when it will end. As he holds her bag, he starts to doze off, only to jolt awake when he accidentally drops everything inside onto the floor. Curious about the strange books that tumble out, he picks them up, wondering what Yao Yao reads in her spare time. As he gathers the fallen items, he overhears a conversation nearby. A female voice sneers, that witch is so arrogant and narcissistic. Just because she's pretty. Lindu responds, let it go. It's my fault. But one of his followers insists, we can't ignore it. She needs to learn a lesson about how to behave. As they continue to flatter Lindu, Bai tries to maintain his facade of being nice, but he can't help but listen in. Just then, Yao Yao notices him eavesdropping and asks, what's going on? Nothing, just leave me alone, he replies, trying to deflect. Are you looking at other girls? She questions, her tone teasing. No, of course not, he protests. In a sudden move, Yao Yao forces him to sit in a chair beside her. From now on, you can only look at me. To avoid trouble, Bai nods, I understand. Yao Yao grins, pleased with her control over the situation. You were really good today, so I'll cooperate with you for a while. She playfully shows him her feet, adding, your reward will be putting socks on a beautiful girl. With her foot resting on his thigh, Bai feels a wave of discomfort wash over him. I don't know about this. But Yao Yao, undeterred, exclaims, my feet are very clean. You can't refuse this reward. Seeing Yao Yao's playful attitude, Bai can't help but think that she and the student council president share a similar mindset. He tries to protest, insisting he doesn't have such fetishes. But Yao Yao swiftly points her bow at him, leaving him no choice. Reluctantly, he kneels in front of her, feeling a mix of discomfort and embarrassment as he prepares to put on her socks. This is ridiculous, he mutters under his breath, knowing he's being threatened. Once he finishes, he manages a strained smile, saying, it was a pleasure to put socks on such a beautiful girl. Yao Yao beams at him, her tone sweetening. Great, you finally understand. She leans her head on his shoulder, thanking him and expressing her happiness that he came with her. Curious, Bai comments, it seems like you and Lindu know each other pretty well. At this, Yao Yao's cheeks flush slightly, and she stands up abruptly. Are you jealous? She teases, a playful glint in her eye. A flashback reveals Yao Yao explaining, Lindu is from another school, so we don't talk much. But yesterday, while we were setting up the stage for the event, he bumped into me on purpose and tried to hit on me. I slapped him for it. Bai's mind races with disbelief. That scoundrel is dragging others into this just for his own pride, he thinks, feeling a surge of anger on her behalf. Before he can voice his thoughts, he notices something strange. Looking to the side, he sees Yao Yao sleeping against his shoulder, a sly smile on her face. He wonders if she's pretending to be asleep. In reality, Yao Yao is sneaking glances to see how Bai will react. Suddenly, he leans in as if about to kiss her, causing her to freeze in embarrassment. Realizing he's crossed a line, he gently rests her head on her bag, preparing to leave. Stop, Yao Yao suddenly shouts, causing him to freeze against the wall, bewildered. Do you know nothing about a girl's heart? When you see a girl sleeping, you should take her home. Embarrassed, Bai retorts. Which teenage magazine did you get that from? Yao Yao's eyes widen, and with teary frustration, she accuses him of being an idiot. You must have found out about my magazines, she snaps, turning away. I'm going back to change. You can go back to school alone. Sighing, Bai walks outside the event, reflecting on the situation. Even though Lindu was lying to those girls, he knows he needs to focus on himself. I have to prevent those girls from causing trouble for Yao Yao, he thinks, but something feels off. Suddenly it clicks in his mind. Lindu didn't do anything in front of me. He's trying to make me leave so he can plot something. Later, a group of 3 girls, led by a blonde, confronts Yao Yao. Do you know what's about to happen? The blonde asks, her tone menacing. Yao Yao, unfazed, replies, What do you want? I don't remember knowing you. Before she can say more, the blonde slaps Yao Yao across the face. Now you'll remember me. That was payback for Mr. Lindu. Wiping her cheek, Yao Yao retorts, It's true that piece of trash likes to gather people. Furious at the insult to her sweetheart, one of the girls grabs Yao Yao by the collar. But Yao Yao stands her ground, unflinching. You think that group of girls and that so-called Lindu will ever work? Garbage. The fanatic among them raises her hand, outrage boiling over. How dare you say that? Just then, Bai arrives at the scene, grabbing the blonde girl's arm to prevent her from delivering another slap. Do you really enjoy being manipulated? He demands, his voice steady. Breaking free, the blonde retorts, This is Mr. Lindu's matter, and I love handling his problems. It's none of your business. In a flash, Bai feels the sting of a slap across his face, igniting a fire of fury within him. He glares at the blonde with a look of pure hatred. Startled, she questions, Why are you looking at me like that? Yao Yao, sensing the tension, approaches Bai, wanting to defuse the situation. You shouldn't be here, she says softly, her eyes filled with concern. You should have just left. Bai nods, but then, in a surprising move, he lifts Yao Yao off the ground like a child, cradling her in his arms. She gazes at him with admiration, tears of gratitude in her eyes, and snuggles closer. The blonde, unwilling to let things end there, scoffs. Do you really think you can just walk away? She challenges. Bai, still holding Yao Yao, responds, It's about time for Lindu to show up. Things are already bad, and if he shows up later, it'll only get worse. At that moment, Lindu appears, feigning innocence. I didn't even do anything. I was just passing by. But before he can finish, Bai launches a powerful punch, landing squarely on Lindu's face. The crowd gasps in shock as Lindu crumples to the ground, humiliated. That punch was for me, Yao Yao exclaims, her voice filled with satisfaction. As she snaps a picture of the scene, Bai warns Lindu, Next time you try to pull something like this, think carefully. Otherwise, everything you did will be exposed. Cao, stepping forward, adds, I have surveillance footage of what you did to Yao Yao yesterday. You should really consider that. Lindu, now on the ground, quickly agrees and apologizes to Yao Yao. Confused, she asks Bai what he did while leaving with him. As they walk away, Yao Yao clings even tighter to Bai's arm, her heart swelling with happiness. Later, we find Bai sitting on a staircase, gazing at the river. Suddenly, Wu approaches, offering him a can of soda. Here, this might help with that bruise, she says, noticing the slap mark on his face. Bai raises an eyebrow. How did you know I'd need this? Yao Yao explains. The Coke is cold, and it'll help. It would be hard to explain that mark if people saw it. Confused, Wu asks, How did you know those girls would intimidate Yao Yao, and that Lindu would be there? Bai explains. Lindu played the victim to attract those girls. He wanted to take revenge on Yao Yao by attacking her, then swoop in to save her like some storybook hero. As Yao Yao moves closer to him, she smirks. You're quite intelligent, she teases. Are you stealing the hero's spotlight from others? Bai inches closer, a playful glint in his eye. The hero saves the damsel, but I want to know where the damsel I'm supposed to save has gone. With a bright smile, Yao Yao replies, Since you're my hero, you'll have to take responsibility for me. I'll be following you. Sometime later, Bai finds himself washing dishes while scrolling through his phone. Yo-Yo has been bombarding him with messages, complaining about him leaving her behind. As he reads her texts, he feels a wave of embarrassment wash over him. If I hadn't left, I would have surely died, he thinks to himself. Suddenly, a figure approaches him. It's his sister, wrapped only in a towel, fresh out of the bath. Were you talking to other girls? She asks, her tone teasing. Bai immediately steps back, knowing his sister all too well. No, it was just a discount notification from an online store, he defends himself, trying to sound convincing. The towel-clad girl raises an eyebrow, her expression skeptical. Your face looks really suspicious, she replies, crossing her arms. Just then, another notification pings on his phone, and the two siblings lock eyes, as if in a silent competition. Bai tries to keep his phone away from her grasp, but she lunges for it, questioning why he's so nervous. After a brief struggle, Bai manages to snatch his phone back, telling her to shut up. However, when she tries to enter the password, she accidentally types in the wrong one. Frustrated, she realizes that her brother's password isn't her birthday, and her irritation grows. "I should teach you a lesson," she declares, snatching the phone from him again. "Wait, it really was just an online store advertisement." Bai protests, but she's already decided that his phone will remain in her custody for now. She places it between her oranges, attempting to hold it there. But the phone slips and falls to the ground with a thud. Both siblings stare at each other in shock, not quite understanding what just happened. Bai's face turns crimson with embarrassment as he crouches down, feeling defeated. To cheer her up, he suggests they do something together. Her expression brightens instantly. "Are you sure?" she asks, excitement bubbling in her voice. Feeling a sense of dread, Bai tries to back out, sensing that something bad is about to happen. Later, we find Bai sitting on the sofa, his sister's head resting on his lap. Uncomfortable, he questions, "Is this really appropriate between siblings? Why do you like this so much?" She turns his face toward her, a playful smile on her lips. "You promised to do anything for me," she reminds him. "And helping people clean their ears is really satisfying for me. That's why I want to do it for you." With that, she begins to clean his ear, and a moment later, she leans in closer, sighing softly into his ear. Bai feels a shiver run down his spine, slightly uncomfortable with the intimacy of the moment. As he glances down, he notices that her towel is beginning to slip off due to a gentle breeze. The fabric shifts, revealing more than he should see. "Time out," he calls out, lifting his head abruptly. "What's wrong?" she asks, laying him back down. "I was going to turn away because I need to talk to one of the bad girls," he stammers, "and if you see her, you'll get mad." His sister raises an eyebrow, intrigued. "What bad girl? Here's a more engaging rewrite of your scene." Bai becomes increasingly annoyed as he pulls at his sister's cheek, glancing at the notifications on his phone. Not only has Yo-Yo sent him multiple messages, but the student council president has as well. Frustrated, he tells his sister, "I'm not going to school tomorrow." Lulu raises an eyebrow, reminding him, "But tomorrow is Saturday." Realization dawns on Bai as he groans, "I completely forgot it was Saturday." Leaning in close, Lulu whispers with a teasing tone, "That means you forgot my performance is tomorrow." "I didn't forget," he protests. "I would never forget the city's young talent dance competition. I just forgot that tomorrow is Saturday." With a mischievous grin, she asks, "So, are you coming to watch me perform?" "Of course, I'll be there," he replies, relieved. Lulu hums a cheerful tune as she slips away, announcing, "That's all for today. I'm going to bed, and I'll see you tomorrow." Later, Bai finds himself in a conversation with Tang, the student council president. She asks if he's eaten yet and complains about how long it took him to reply, even though he's already read her message. "What do you want?" he asks, trying to keep the conversation light. "Tomorrow is Saturday," she states matter-of-factly. "Of course, my president is always working hard," he replies. "You should take a break. I won't see you again until Monday." But Tang counters, "I'll come to your house in the morning to play with you." Alarm bells ring in Bai's mind. "What do you mean?" he asks, panic rising. He thinks to himself that if his sister sees the president coming over in the morning, something very bad could happen. The night passes, and morning finally arrives. Bai receives a message from Lulu informing him that she's on stage heading to rehearsal and reminding him not to forget to come see her that night. He replies that everything is fine. Meanwhile, Bai thinks he's clever enough to run to the nearest bookstore, successfully avoiding the disaster that could unfold in front of his house. With a rather terrifying expression, he mutters to himself, "My entire plan worked perfectly." Suddenly, someone approaches him offering coffee. He accepts it with a smile, feeling a sense of relief as he takes a sip. Everything seems to be going according to plan, and for the first time, Bai feels genuinely happy. But then, he suddenly feels the weight of 2 melons resting on his shoulder. "This feels familiar," he mutters, turning to see the president leaning against him, cheerfully greeting him. In the background, a woman can be seen frying snacks, munching on one as she works. "Hey, how did you know I'd be hiding in the bookstore?" Bai asks, trying to mask his surprise. "Here's a more engaging rewrite of your scene." As the young girl munches on one of the fried snacks, she asks Bai, "Do you know why rabbits are so easy to catch?" Feeling a bit uneasy about the conversation, Bai replies, "No. Why?" She leans in, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Rabbits are actually quite timid. When they hear noise on one side, they panic and run to the other side. Bai raises an eyebrow. What does that have to do with anything? With a sly smile, she continues, "A smart hunter just needs to learn a bit about the rabbit's habits and set a trap. The rabbit will naturally fall right into it." Then, in a teasingly sensual tone, she calls him Little Bunny. Realizing she's referring to him, Bai feels a mix of embarrassment and confusion. "You're very intelligent, but you won't find a boyfriend acting like this," he retorts, trying to regain some composure. With an imposing demeanor, she counters, "If there's someone I like, that person won't be able to escape me easily." In his mind, Bai wonders where this white fox learned such strange things and questions why she winked at him when she said that. Returning to reality, he asks, "So, why did you want to see me today?" Tang simply replies, "I wanted to have fun with the vice president. Plus, I want you to accompany me on a blind date." At that moment, Bai stands up, thanking her for the food. "I'm starting to feel a bit unwell, so I think I'll leave now." But Tang isn't having it. With a swift motion, she uses her leg to trip Bai's heel, causing him to stumble backward. As he tries to grab onto something for support, she guides his hand straight to a pair of melons. "Why did the vice president grab that place so boldly?" she asks shamelessly, a teasing glint in her eye. "Do you want me to scream that I'm being harassed?" Feeling Tang's leg pressing against his heel, Bai protests, "The one being harassed here is me." With a playful smirk, she begins to gently stroke his arm, slowly spelling out "Vice President" with her fingers. "Do you really want to try running away?" she asks, her tone playful yet predatory, as if she's holding on to her prey, her little bunny. With no other choice, Bai apologizes. "I'm feeling much better now." Sometime later, she sits beside him, her demeanor softening. "This meeting was just to meet someone. You don't need to be so nervous." Bai responds, "Do you know how many people at school want to kill me just because you used me as a scapegoat? That's why I don't want to die this time."